Hello folks, we have another treat for you today, a 5-player game on Germany. It's me as always, Josh the Funkdoc. I am the player up top here with the purple color. We have Mastaba, another one of the stronger veteran players here. amitss1, who's won plenty of games on this channel. The Wishmaker, whom we've seen a lot on here as well. And JVis, our enthusiastic new player. Anyway, I'm going to bid $9 for the 4-plant because... never mind, JVis bids 10, and I give it up at that point. Now I'll bid 5 for the 3-plant. 3 and 4 are really, really valuable in Germany again because the building is a lot less balanced. It's a lot tougher to build later on Germany compared to the other maps, generally speaking. And this map will not be an exception. Amitss bids 6. All right, I'm getting outbid for both of these. All right, that's fine. 5 is the easy choice for me. We'll still get a solid building spot. And hopefully can take a decent spot in the turn order with 21 showing there. That's a plant that could very easily come onto the market on turn 2. And I'd like to be in position to win that. Very pleased I got no extra bidding on the 5. Very pleased that happened. So when 3, 4, 5 are bought, I think 8 should be the next plant you buy. The reason is, if you don't buy the 8... then the 10 is going to get a little too much of an advantage in terms of money, I feel, with only 4 and 5 buying coal beneath it. And that's what the Wishmaker does, going for the 8. I think that's correct, and then Mastaba should buy the 9. I've been very vocal about this. In 5-player games, if you're the last player to buy a plant in the opening, I think 9 is clearly better than 10. It doesn't look like it on paper, for sure. 10 looks great on paper to start with, compared to all the other plants that you see. Problem is, coal is going to be stupidly expensive for you. And you're going to get stuck up top and have to pay a lot for coal again on turn 2. After you most likely don't buy a plant. Because of all that, I think 9 puts you in a better spot. You only have to build 1 city to get the most from the 9. So you can get a decent spot in the turn order usually for turn 2. And potentially get something good. Like, look, we have 18, 21, I mean, even 27 could potentially come in. Those are all huge, huge plants for turn 2 on Germany. Because this being Germany, the usual 5-player strategy of paying extra for big capacity plants early, I don't think is going to work here. On Germany, you're going to have to be more careful, and I think play a little bit more like you would a 3 or 4-player game. Focus a little more on money to win. There's Emmett with the triple build in red. Yep, that's a very, very strong build for the 3-plant. I'm not quite as big on it because I'd rather stay low in the turn order and try to get a big plant, though. So if it were to me, I'd build a Würzburg, I think. Like, I would try to find a safe single build somewhere. That's just my style, though. I definitely have my eye on Würzburg with the 5 if I can get it. This puts you close to a whole bunch of different stuff, so you won't be at risk of getting blocked in step 2, really, with this build. Early city is a little more costly, but I can deal with that. Yep. And this is where I want to take my spot now. Because nobody else is going to build around here, so what I can do is go for Mannheim as my second city, and that opens up Stuttgart as a cheap third. So here, then here. is where I would look to build next, most likely. So I think that's going to leave... Actually, what I could have done is build here. I could have built one in this area. That might have been better, actually. I don't know. This puts me closer to a lot of other stuff. It's harder for me to get cornered and blocked with this build compared to in here. Wishmaker did not build. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Wishmaker does this. Wishmaker likes to do the no build with the 8. Don't buy any coal, don't build. So that way you can drop in the turn order and get cheap coal for the next turn. So actually I'm not quite bottom here. Uh-oh, the 12. Well, that gives a little more advantage to turn order here. Question is whether Emmett buys 10 or 12 here. I might be tempted by 12, honestly, because there's not going to be too much oil at this point. It's close, though. Because I don't think that, like, in the... 10 is better for turn order in the short term, but since Emmett only has... since Emmett already has 3 cities. I might have considered the 12 here because Emmett's going to be stuck high in the turn order anyway by virtue of already having 3. And I definitely imagine Wishmaker will build in this area. That's what I see. I predict a Dusseldorf Kolm build for Wishmaker here, followed by Munster on the next turn. That's what I think will happen. Claim that cheap stuff. Like, Wishmaker can either build in the blue and red border around here or around the brown-yellow border. Brown-yellow, though, it's a reasonable area for 2 people to fight, but not the greatest. 15. Well, now we're getting... Although 15 is good at this point, at least. I mean, these plants are dropping at points where people would actually want to buy them. Like, plants like 12 and 15 are just total duds if they come later in the game. I can't build to 3 with the 15, so I think my play is just... If Mastaba buys anything here, I think I just pass. Yeah. See if I get 18 to drop, which should be most likely, yeah. I'll go for this. Wishmaker will pass, I think, get 21, but I'm okay with it. 18 it costs is amazing, too, on Germany, so I'm not even too mad about that. Hell of a lot better than 15, I'll say that. Yeah, Wishmaker's no build worked out beautifully, I have to say. Anyway, I have to build Mannheim next, clearly. Go for that. For sure. And 11 comes in right after 21, so there we go. A dud after all those big plants in a row. Play for me is to not buy extra resources, I think. This definitely, I think the 21 buy, I think that will tip Wishmaker toward building in here, though. So Mastaba will get a bunch of cities in here, if that's the case. That could be something to watch out for. But Mastaba missed out on the best plants this turn. That's a big downside. It's rare to see every single player buy a plant on each of the first 2 turns, by the way, especially in a 5-player. Yep, there's Wishmaker's build as I expected. Actually, what I would do here is build Nuremberg next. Mastaba will be a threat to jump into Nuremberg here. And that cuts off a lot of my builds, so I'd look toward that. JVis gets Fulda. If I were JVis, I would definitely stay at 2 cities here with the 10. Because, yeah, I mean, Mastaba's not going to build this on the next turn anyway. And you get to build next on the next turn also. Amit buys 12. Well, 25 and 26, but this is going to be kind of a problem here. I guess I could stay at 2 and just run the 18 again. That would be how I get a little use out of them. 25 is a little extra value to me compared to 26 because I have 2 coal stored. Though 26 should definitely be the better plant in the long run. There will be less competition for oil later. This is good. Wishmaker might have to pass and just give this to me at cost now. Never mind. Or I'll bid, in which case Wishmaker will... Okay, they're not going to pass. Ugh, sweet. I'll just buy my 2 oil now while it's cheap. I'm obviously not going to build this turn, but here's something that's really nice, though. Here's something really nice. Next turn, I can build to 4 if I want to, because then I could get Nuremberg and Stuttgart next turn. But what I might rather do, because I have this coal sitting on the 5 here. Because I have that coal sitting on the 5. I might want to build just 1 next turn. Just 1 city. Build 1 city next turn. And that way I can burn the coal on sitting on the 5. And then after that, go for oil. But yeah, this is the nice thing about 18 at cost in turn 2. It gave me the luxury of bidding for one of these plants here. Like a 25, 26. One of those big plants. Gave me the luxury of bidding there, so. Because I can power 2 cities for free, I can afford to pay a little extra for a top tier plant that I can use later. I'm set up really, really well for Germany, though, I will say. Set up really well for Germany. Emmy, if I were JVis, I would have definitely built Munster instead of Aachen. I think that's a clear mistake. Didn't even notice that. Ooh, Mastaba gets Castle. That's a really strong build for him, because he has all this land to himself, and he breaks out of that corner, getting, now he can threaten red. So Mastaba is in an amazing situation in terms of builds. His problem is his plants. Plants in turn order, and also being stuck at the top of the turn order with subpar plants for now. That's his issue. And the plant aspect tends to matter more in 5-player. Interesting that Wishmaker could not hit 4 cities. I would have thought with 21 at cost that they'd be able to do that. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I definitely think that my play will be to... Especially with all this oil being burned, I do think I'd buy at least 1 oil this turn. Actually, I should probably buy 2. I'm just stockpiling oil now because there's a lot of oil being used. Although with Wishmaker here, me buying extra oil is tipping Wishmaker toward burning coal on the 21 instead of oil, which is very good for me. So he's now resorted to attacking coal, which is nice because JVis and Mastaba are both heavily reliant on coal right now. And even amitss, because amitss is stuck running the 3. Like, amitss, because of that, like, he really wants to burn coal on the 12. At any rate, I build Nuremberg now. I think JVis really needs to make it to 5 cities, so I don't think he'll jump into Stuttgart here. I just have to make sure to get Nuremberg before Mastaba jumps down here, because as expensive as this connection looks, it gets you a lot of territory, so... Oh god, no, Wishmaker built down here. That's bad for me. Ooh, now JVis might jump into Stuttgart. He might. Wow! Wow. Yeah, there goes Stuttgart now. I still like my chances long term, though. I think the problem I face is this. I might be stuck not being able to break the stall. With my plants that I have now, I'd like to be able to build to 7 cities as soon as I possibly can. I mean, JVis is clearly gonna jump into Stuttgart now. I think that's the obvious play. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. JVis built... Oh my god, JVis made the mega jump into Magdeburg. Well, I guess it's not too crazy of a jump, and it gets him a lot of land. That actually makes a lot of sense. That makes sense for JVis to do. Okay. Anyway, there's 27... What was the plant that just went under? 30... 36, right? Yeah, no, not 36. 38. 38's the plant that went under. Okay, so I think we're up to date now. At any rate, I'm not touching 27. Well, Mastaba should bid for this now, which is good. Mastaba and Wishmaker can both use this plant. Yeah, Mastaba can really use this plant. And it's 5-player. So 30 becomes really valuable in 5. Like, I'll even put in a bid for this. I probably shouldn't. I mean, I should trust these 2 players to bid. I'll just stop now. Like, buying another plant would cripple me at this point. I really need to build here. Especially because I still get Stuttgart now, which is huge. What that does is... Ooh. That might have been too cheap. 31 now. Well, it looks like we're heading for a stall here. I'm just going to trust that this is Germany, and it'll make the game last long enough to actually get to the Step 3 auction, and, like, cheap 31's not going to win the game. I just have to trust that. I mean, Wishmaker getting both of those plants at cost is a concern, but they're stuck at the top of the turn order with no coal, and a good amount of coal beneath them. Sadly, I'm a buck short of building to 6. Here's an idea. Nah, I can't justify buying 28 here even. It's just my margin for money is so thin that if I didn't buy it, if I just bought 1 extra oil last turn, I'd be better off now, I think. Because I would have been able to build to 6 this turn. Now I can only build to 5, and then next turn I think I'll just build to 8. That's what I'm looking at now.
Will you always park on that side? Yeah. Okay. Because you'll be back in the driveway now, right?
Yeah.
When you park?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll work something.
Okay.
Actually, I probably won't build to 8 next turn. I think I might just build to 7. Because there's going to be no real valuable 8th city for me. If I'm then, like, I'd rather save my money to expand out of this corner after building to 7. I definitely plan on building to 7 next turn, though. I want to make the most money I can from these plants, and it just pays to move the market. Mastaba building Berlin, very reasonable choice. $17 connection, but it nets you 3 cities, basically. So, that's a solid move there. Make JVis expand up north. More expensive. Mastaba being able to build to 6 with that 30 there is a problem, though. I'm worried about him. As per usual in these games, Mastaba's a big concern for me. I don't know why JVis builds to 6 there. JVis should stop at 5, I think. Now I'm going to be second from bottom in the turn order, which is pretty good. I might bid on this. To be honest. Yeah, I think this is worth bidding because Germany. It's at least a lower number than 29, and also cheaper resources. Because nobody's used any nuclear at this point. Yeah, I'll bid for this. Sure. On most other maps in 5-player, I wouldn't be doing this. Germany's expensive builds make me value these efficient 4 capacity plants more. So now my current plan is with this. amitss, please bid. Really? Oh, mastaba getting the big plants for cheap. Hmm. And amitss gets the jackpot. That's what he was waiting for this whole time. I don't know why Wishmaker bought a second 4 plant, though. I'm just hoping the money from these plants will help me out. My goal is just to stick with these plants and try to make money because the other players don't have as good of a money-making setup. Like, literally the big capacity players, most of them are like heavily reliant on coal. It's only me and amitss who aren't. And we have the 2 most efficient setups, so I feel like we are the players who, if anything, might end up in front. Maybe. I'll just build to 7 now. Yeah. Because again, we want to speed the game up. We want the game to move towards step 3. And now there's 24, and 24 might not even stay on next turn, which I don't care about. Like, I have my plants that I'm set with. Never mind, 24 will stay on next turn. This game is an experiment to see if targeting maximum efficiency and money making will beat like the capacity strategy. $23 to slow down the market some. There is a chance 33 shows up here. Like 24 will be. I think JVis is going to buy 24 now. That plant makes a lot of sense for him. I still don't understand Wishmaker buying 29. I don't get that at all. Oh my god, there freaking is 33. The problem is it's at a point where, like, who can even really use 33 at this stage? Now I'm glad mastaba got 20, because that kind of pigeonholes him into not buying this. I'm not sure if I was better off staying at 6, though. Like, see, there we go. Look at that. 33 shows up, nobody even buys it. That's where we're at here. So me triggering step 2 at this point, it was nice in that it created an awkward situation for everybody because of their money versus what's on the plant market. Now, unfortunately, I would have benefited from this had I not bid for 28 on the previous turn, but alas. But alas, but alas. And at least there's competition for trash, so 30 is not going to be as great of a value. I do feel like now... amitss is kind of in the lead at this point because of that 32 it cost. Having those cheap builds there. Yeah, look at all those builds. Yeah, I think amitss just wins the game, to be honest. Oh, I forgot to cross off 14. Okay, so not as many duds as I thought there were. In retrospect, I think I might have been better off building into here instead of just going for the boring safe build here. I don't know. Tough to say. Well, now I can build one more city. And 17 to stall that market. All right. Luckily, both Mastaba and Wishmaker are below the endgame level here. Luckily. I think my play is to build Castle in Munster, because Munster is really just a tiny jump, and it sets me up to build that stuff, the rest of that stuff in step 3 potentially. And I think my play is just to build to 10. So just those two, I think, is my play. At least the coal and trash people are fighting each other now. Amit's not buying extra oil. That I like to see that. Amit's got all the cheap builds, but the problem is he's blocked pretty good. Especially because I expect... JVis should take Erfurt. I agree with that. And I think you should stop there. JVis should stop there, then he'll get bottom in the turn order. I think is what he wants to do. He might build higher, though. Yep, shouldn't have done that. I think JVis should have stayed at 10 cities, personally. Now I can stay bottom in the turn order, or Mastaba can. Mastaba's running out of places to build, so yeah, Mastaba gets bottom now, which makes sense. It's just interesting to see JVis want to run the 10. I just don't think that's a good play at this stage. I mean, it does attack Mastaba and Wishmaker, which, I mean, I guess there's some merit to it because of that. Just because of that. Because you're attacking the two big leaders in capacity by just burning as much coal as you can. So on that level, there's some merit to it. I don't like what it costs you in turn order, though. Like, JVis would stay below both me and amitss. And we know 50 is the last plant left. What's nice about this is we're not going to have the step 3 building yet. Yeah, my hope now is that I can have enough of a money lead that I can get a good finish next turn. Because now Mastaba has to build. So I'm actually going to get... I'm not going to build at all. I am going to stay bottom in the turn order. That's my goal now. Try to get bottom for step 3. Because Mastaba has to build here. That's his problem. If he doesn't build now, Wishmaker can end the game and win at Wishmaker just has to build 3 more cities and he can win. And he has coal stored in the 31, so no way that's going to get bought out. Coal's fairly cheap now too, actually. So yeah, not happening. Coal buyout's not a possibility. Plus Wishmaker has coal stored anyway, so yeah. Mastaba has no choice but to build to 14. And I mean, he can do that. He has the 3 cities here. It's just after that he would have to jump. He's thinking, yeah. Mastaba's got a lot of math to do because he needs to build to 14, but he needs to make sure to have coal secured. In his spot, I might just buy 1 more coal. That way we'll have 6. We'll have enough coal to run the 20 for 2 turns because step 3 auction will come next turn and the game will end then. So Mastaba doesn't buy anything extra. So he's clearly thinking about his build now. I definitely have to buy my 2 extra oil now for sure. Grab that oil while it's cheap. It attacks both amitss and wishmaker, who are some of my, some of the main competitors here. Yeah, I do think that Mastaba probably is not winning this because of, Trash got run down with JVis buying 24. So 30 ended up being not as much of a value as I thought it would. Yeah. Mastaba has to make a big jump in order to stop Wishmaker from winning now. And Mastaba has the best base capacity of anybody going into next turn, so that will be a nice advantage for him. He's going to be stuck at the top, around the top of the turn order, though. But I think he has no choice but to do it. He has to jump somewhere into, probably into here. Because he only has these 3 cities here before he'll be forced to jump somewhere. He can build Osnabrück, actually. Ooh, he gambles. Wow. Gambling that Wishmaker won't have... I don't know if I agree with that. I really don't know if I agree with that. I really don't know if I agree with that, man. Anyway, I'm going to finish in probably 3rd place, I guess. Yeah, I think Wishmaker's going to win this, though. Not that it matters. Clearly, Wish's best builds are there. Oh, that's it. Mastaba didn't see that Wishmaker had these cities open. That's what he didn't see. He thought that Wish would be forced to jump all the way up into here if he were to make his build there and block Wish. Oh well. Should be an easy win for Wishmaker now. Yep. All right, so we actually do have a 5-player game. See, with this being Germany, I really thought the game would reach the step 3 market, and I think it would have if Mastaba hadn't made that error there that he admitted. Again, it came down to Mastaba forgetting that Wishmaker could still build 2 cities in this southwest corner of the map. He didn't see that those were still open for Wish. He thought that his big jump and just ending the game would, it would force Wish to jump all the way up here. And no, that wasn't happening. Then again, maybe Wishmaker just ends it anyway. Anyway, that's it for this game. Yeah, this was again, this one came down to a tricky endgame. So often with these 5-player games, because of only needing 15 cities to end the game, that creates a lot more of these interesting situations regarding, whether they'll end early, if so, who ends the game early. That stuff comes into play here a lot more than it does in the 3 and 4-player games. So that's an example of that right there. So see you later.